Olympics freeski women's halfpipe postponed due to brutal snowstorm. As Eileen Gu's shot at gold must wait. Eileen Gu will have to wait another day for her chance at Olympic gold. The freeski women's halfpipe, originally scheduled for Saturday afternoon, has been postponed until Sunday morning because of an ongoing snowstorm creating unsafe competition conditions. The event is now set to happen Sunday at 10:40 a.m. Gu, an American-born freeskier who represents China, is the defending Olympic gold medalist in halfpipe. She headlines the 12-athlete field that also includes Americans Kate Gray and Svea Irving. Gu has already secured silver medals in both slopestyle and big air events at the 2026 Milan Cortina Games. The halfpipe is her last chance at securing the gold medal that has eluded her in this year's games. The biggest threat to Gu might be Zoe Atke, also an American-born athlete who competes for another country and, like Gu, also attends Stanford. Atke, who represents Great Britain, won gold in freeski halfpipe at the 2025 World Championships. Gu is one of the most popular athletes competing in the Games. She's continued to make headlines, though, for her decision to represent China, her mother's native country. Asked if she felt like a punching bag for a certain strand of American politics at the Olympics, Gu said, "I do. So many athletes compete for a different country," Gu said to reporters. "People only have a problem with me doing it because they kind of lump China into this monolithic entity and they just hate China. So it's not really about what they think it's about. And also, because I win," Gu continued. "If I wasn't doing well, I think that they probably wouldn't care as much, and that's okay for me. People are entitled to their opinions." The day the snow stole the show, a winter tale of grit, grace, and frozen dreams. The Italian Alps are no strangers to snow, harsh, dramatic, and beautifully relentless. But on that late winter afternoon at Livorno Snow Park, the mountains didn't just whisper winter's power. They wrought it. A brutal snowstorm swirled through the alpine air, whipping wind and flurries into a frenzy that would change the course of the women's freeski halfpipe final at the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. What was meant to be a spectacular crescendo in a season of athletic artistry became an agonizing waiting game, one that left the world holding its breath, and icons like Eileen Gu with their dreams temporarily suspended. Skyfall at Livorno, when snow takes center stage. The day began like any other Olympic spectacle. Flags fluttering, athletes tightening boots, and cameras poised to capture the next chapter in winter sports history. The halfpipe, a slick U-shaped corridor of icy perfection carved into the mountainside, stood ready for the best female freeskiers on the planet. Among the competitors were familiar faces, rising stars like America's Kate Gray, seasoned talents like Canada's Amy Fraser, and Great Britain's Zoe Atke, each chasing not just a medal, but a singular, perfect run. But as morning diffused into the afternoon, the weather, unpredictable and uncompromising, refused to stay quiet. What the forecast had hinted at grew into something far more menacing: swirling snow, drifting ice, and visibility that sank lower by the hour. By late afternoon, Olympic officials faced a stark reality. The halfpipe was no longer a stage for competition, but a slippery trap where safety and fairness could be compromised. The decision was made: postpone the event. For many of the athletes, that announcement, broadcast to the crowd, the world, and the hopefuls themselves, was more than just a scheduling shift. It was a collective breath held and released, an abrupt stop in the rhythmic pulse of Olympic adrenaline. Why the delay mattered. A snowstorm might seem like a typical winter spectacle, but in the context of Olympic freeskiing, it matters profoundly. Heavy snowfall accumulates quickly in a halfpipe, filling in the crisp edges and flat bottoms that athletes rely on to launch into high-flying tricks. It flattens lips, buries transitions, and creates unpredictable traction under skis. Conditions like these are not just unideal, they are dangerous. Ensuring fair and safe competition is paramount, and no medal, not even Olympic gold, is worth risking severe injury. Officials initially tried to work around the weather, pushing the start time later into the evening in hopes of a break in the storm. But when visibility worsened and snow continued to blanket the landscaped pipe, the inevitable was confirmed. The women's freeski halfpipe final would not be contested that day. Instead, it would take place the next morning, holding everyone in a limbo of suspense. Eileen Gu, waiting in the winter's shadow. Among those most affected by the postponement was Eileen Gu, one of the most compelling athletes in winter sports today. Born in San Francisco and representing China, Gu has redefined freestyle skiing with a rare blend of technical skill, fearless creativity, and magnetic presence on and off the snow. Before the storm's interruption, Gu had already claimed 2 silver medals in slopestyle and Big A at these games, dazzling performances that spoke to her breadth as a competitor. But the halfpipe had always been her signature event. At the 2022 Beijing Olympics, she seized gold there, part of a historic triple medal haul that confirmed her status as a legend in her sport. Now, with one final run standing between her and another chance at Olympic gold, Gu was poised to finish these games on the highest of highs. Yet as the snow fell heavier around Livigno, so too did the weight of suspense. In one swift meteorological swoop, her gold medal moment, and the culmination of years of work, was delayed. Instead of strapping her skis back on, stretching her legs, and hearing the crowds roar, she found herself waiting for the skies to clear, for the halfpipe to be deemed safe, and for her dreams to finally take center stage. The psychology of postponement, between patience and pressure. In sports, timing is everything, and nowhere is that truer than at the Olympics. The act of postponing a final might seem like a logistical adjustment, but for an athlete, it's a psychological earthquake. Preparation is precise, routines are carefully calibrated, and minds are trained to enter peak mental states at exactly the right moment. A shift in schedule, particularly on the biggest stage in sport, tests not just a competitor's physical readiness, but their emotional resilience. For Gu, the delay was a test in patience. It meant extended warm-ups, altered rest patterns, unfamiliar hours of anticipation, and the added psychological load of wondering, when will my moment finally come? In a sport where fractions of points and split-second decisions define glory, the burden of waiting is its own obstacle. Athletes must protect their focus while the storm rages outside, their thoughts toward that final run, and the chance to capture gold. From delay to dawn, the rescheduled final. The storm didn't last forever. Eventually, the snowfall slowed, crews worked through the night clearing snowcats and reshaping the halfpipe, a testament to human effort against nature's caprice. And when the morning finally came, the athletes returned to a transformed venue, a pristine halfpipe under soft blue skies, reborn for competition.